My mom flirted with every boyfriend I had, then told my latest one, "You can do better." I saved receipts. On a random Tuesday night, my boyfriend showed me a message from my mom that said, "You're too good for her. If you ever want someone who appreciates you, call me." I didn't confront her. I didn't warn her. I stayed calm, started saving receipts, and let her keep talking, because I knew she'd deny it the second I called it out. My name is Kayla. I'm 29, and I'm from Tampa. I'm going to tell you a story that took me years to name, because for a long time I kept calling it my mom being social. But it wasn't social. It was a pattern. My mom, Sandra, is femtiosex. She's charming in public, dramatic in private, and she has a talent for making other people feel responsible for her feelings. When I was growing up, she used to say things like, "I just want what's best for you," but somehow, what's best for you always meant what makes me feel important. I didn't have the language for that at 15 or 19 or 23. I just had a constant feeling that love was something you could lose if you didn't manage it correctly. The first time I noticed my mom's behavior around my boyfriends, I was 17. I brought a boyfriend to dinner, and my mom laughed at every sentence he said. Not polite laughter. The kind of laughter that says, "Look how special you are when you're near me." After he left, she said, "He's cute. He could do better than you if you don't keep him interested." I remember standing in my room, staring at my mirror, thinking, maybe I really don't deserve someone nice. Because when your mother says it, it sounds like truth. As I got older, it kept happening. If I dated someone quiet, she'd call him boring, then suddenly become warm and attentive to him like she was trying to wake him up. If I dated someone confident, she'd test him with little jokes and watch whether he laughed at her more than he smiled at me. And anytime I looked uncomfortable, she'd say, "Oh my God, I can't even breathe without you getting jealous." That word, jealous. It worked like a muzzle. So I stopped bringing people around as much. And for a while, I thought I'd solved it. Then I met Ben. Ben is 31. He works in IT security, and he has that calm, steady vibe that makes you feel like your nervous system can finally unclench. He's not flashy. He's not easily impressed. He's kind in a way that's practical, not performative. We dated for about 8 months before I introduced him to my family. That wasn't because I was hiding him. It was because I didn't trust my mom with anything that mattered to me. But Ben noticed. He noticed that when my mom called, my shoulders went up. He noticed I'd rehearse conversations in the car before seeing my parents. He never pushed. He just said, "We go at your pace." So one Sunday, we went to my parents' house for lunch. My mom greeted Ben like she'd been waiting for him specifically. Not, "Welcome to the family." More like, "Finally." She touched his arm while she talked. She complimented his voice. She asked questions that weren't about him, but about his preferences. "What kind of woman do you usually go for, Ben? How do you like your coffee? Do you prefer women who are more confident?" I could feel my face getting warm, but I forced a smile. Because if I reacted, the story would become Kayla is insecure. After lunch, my dad went to the garage, and my mom did her usual move. She pulled Ben aside under the excuse of showing him a family photo album. I stood in the kitchen, washing dishes, listening to their voices drift in from the living room. I heard my mom laugh and say, "Kayla was always sensitive. You'll have to be patient with her." Then I heard Ben say, calm and firm, "Kayla's fine. Please don't talk about her like that." The room went quieter. I should have felt relieved. I did, for a second. Then my mom came back into the kitchen and said, smiling too hard, "Ben is such a good guy. Don't mess this up." That night, Ben and I drove home, and I apologized for my mom's comments. Ben said, "You don't have to apologize for her, you just have to decide what you'll tolerate." That sentence stayed in my head. 2 weeks later, my mom followed Ben on social media. Then, she started commenting on his posts. Nothing explicit, just flattering. "Great photo. Nice smile. You're such a good man." Ben didn't reply. He didn't block her either. He just watched. Then came the Tuesday night that changed everything. Ben was sitting beside me on the couch, scrolling on his phone when he said, "Hey, I need to show you something." His voice was calm, but I could hear a little edge underneath. He turned his phone toward me. It was a message request from my mom. It said, "You're too good for her. If you ever want someone who appreciates you, call me." I stared at the screen until the words looked blurry. Because it wasn't a misunderstanding anymore. It was a direct attempt. Ben watched my face and said, "I didn't respond. I didn't want to hide it from you." I swallowed. "Thank you." Then Ben said, "What do you want to do? If you were me, would you call her right away and explode?" I wanted to, but I knew my mom's best skill. She could turn any confrontation into a story where she was the victim. So I made one small change. I created a folder in my phone called Receipts. Then I saved the screenshots Ben sent me. Time and date visible. And I told Ben, calm, we're not confronting yet. Ben blinked. Why? I said, Because she'll deny it, and I need her to keep talking long enough to reveal herself clearly. Ben nodded slowly. Okay, we do it your way. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Is Ben mad at me? He's been distant. And right then, I realized something terrifying. She wasn't worried about me. She was worried about losing access to him. I didn't answer my mom's text immediately. I screenshot it and saved it. Then I wrote a calm reply. Mom, what do you mean Ben is distant? She responded within seconds. I'm just being friendly. You always get weird when someone likes your boyfriend. There it was again. Jealous, weird, sensitive. I said, Ben showed me your message. It wasn't friendly. My mom waited a full minute before replying. That's how I knew she was calculating. Then she wrote, I was joking. You two have no sense of humor. I didn't argue. I didn't beg her to understand. I asked one question. Mom, why would a joke be private? No reply. The next day, my Aunt Teresa called me. My aunt is my mom's older sister, and she's the only adult in my childhood who ever said, that's not okay, without worrying about my mom's reaction. Teresa said, your mom called me last night. My stomach tightened. About what? She said you're unstable again, Teresa said. And she said Ben is too good for you. I closed my eyes. If you're listening and thinking, how does a mother talk like that? I understand. I spent years thinking it was normal. Teresa asked, is she doing that thing? I knew exactly what she meant. I said, yes. Teresa sighed. Okay. You need to keep proof. She'll try to make you look crazy. I told Teresa I had screenshots. Teresa said, good. Do not argue in circles with her. That evening, Ben received another message from my mom. This time, it was longer. I'm worried about Kayla. She gets attached. She doesn't handle rejection. If you leave her, do it gently. I can help you. Ben stared at it, then handed me his phone. I felt something in my chest go cold and clean, because my mom was preparing to make me look unstable before anything even happened. I said, calm, save it. Ben said, already did. Then he asked, do you want me to block her? I hesitated. Not because I wanted her access, because I wanted one more thing. I wanted her to reveal the full pattern. So I said, not yet. Mute her. Don't respond. Ben agreed. A week passed. Then my mom tried a different angle. She invited Ben to lunch, alone. She didn't invite me. She didn't even mention me. Ben showed me the text. Hey Ben, I'm near your office. Want to grab lunch? My treat. Ben replied, one sentence. No, please stop contacting me directly. He sent it. Then he blocked her. I felt relief for about 10 minutes. Then my phone buzzed. My mom, furious. How dare you put Ben against me? You're insecure and controlling. I was trying to help you keep him. Help me keep him. That phrase made my stomach turn. Because she didn't see Ben as a person. She saw him as a prize that needed management. I replied, calm. Mom, do not contact Ben again. If you do, I will take space from you. She sent back, you won't. And that was the moment I realized she truly believed I wouldn't enforce anything. If you were me, what would you do next? Because I had two options. Option 1, keep begging her to respect me. Option 2, stop explaining and start enforcing. I chose option 2. I didn't call. I didn't write paragraphs. I stopped attending family dinners for a month. I didn't announce it. I just became unavailable. My mom reacted by doing what she always did when she lost control. She escalated the story outward. She started contacting people around me. First, my best friend Monica. Monica texted me, your mom just messaged me asking if you're okay. She says you're in a bad place. I replied, I'm fine. She's trying to create a narrative. Please don't engage. Then my mom contacted someone else. My ex, Tyler. Tyler and I had dated years ago. Nothing dramatic, it just ended. I hadn't spoken to him in a long time. Tyler messaged me out of the blue. Hey, your mom reached out. She asked if you ever felt emotionally drained with Kayla. My stomach dropped. That was the same play she ran with Ben, just in reverse. If she could get an ex to say something negative, she could claim, see, it's always been Kayla. I replied to Tyler, calm. She's crossing boundaries. Please don't respond. Then I screenshot Tyler's message and saved it. Receipts weren't just about my mom flirting. They were about the pattern of character sabotage. That night, Ben said something that made my throat tighten. He said, she's not trying to steal me. She's trying to prove you're unworthy. I nodded, eyes burning. Because he was right. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized it wasn't about men. It was about power. My mom wanted to be the person who decided what I deserved. And I was done letting her decide. My mom texted me one more time, late at night. Tell Ben I'm sorry. I just wanted him to see the real you. I stared at the screen. Then I opened receipts and realized I had enough. Enough messages. Enough witnesses. Enough proof that this wasn't me being sensitive. So I planned a single moment to end it. A moment where she couldn't deny, couldn't interrupt, couldn't cry her way out. A family brunch, with paper on the table. My parents hosted Sunday brunch every month. It was a family tradition. Waffles, fruit, coffee, and my mom acting like the family's emotional manager. I told my dad I'd come, but I said one condition. Ben is coming too, and we're leaving if mom starts any drama. My dad sounded relieved. Like my presence was a sign the system was returning to normal. That's how families like mine work. Your absence is a threat, your presence is a surrender. Ben and I arrived on time. My mom greeted Ben first, not me. She smiled big and said, Ben, sweetheart, I missed you. Ben nodded politely. Hi, Sandra. My mom's eyes flicked to me. Kayla, she said, like she was greeting a neighbor she didn't like. You look tired. I sat down and said, calm, let's eat. Brunch started normal for about 10 minutes. Then my mom did the thing she always did. She created a performance. She brought out a photo album and placed it beside Ben. You should see Kayla's prom photos, she said. She was such a mess back then. Ben didn't laugh. He said, calm. Why would you say that? My mom blinked. It's just teasing. Ben replied, it doesn't sound kind. Silence spread across the table. My dad cleared his throat. So, work is good. My mom ignored him. She looked at Ben and said, softly, you're very protective. Ben nodded. I am. My mom smiled like she'd found the angle she wanted. Well, she said, some men like being needed. I felt my stomach tighten, but I stayed calm. Because this was the trap. My mom couldn't help herself. She always had to imply that my partner's loyalty was pity, and I needed her to do it in front of witnesses. My Aunt Teresa arrived late, carrying muffins. She sat down, looked around, and immediately sensed the tension. Teresa looked at me and said, everything okay? I nodded. We're about to talk. My mom's face hardened. What now? She said. I opened my phone and placed it on the table. Then I slid my phone toward my mom, screen facing her. It was a screenshot of her message to Ben. You're too good for her. If you ever want someone who appreciates you, call me. My mom stared at it. Then she did exactly what I expected. She laughed. That's not real, she said. She made that. Ben took his phone out, opened the same message thread, and placed it next to mine. Same words, same timestamp, her number. My mom's smile faltered. My dad leaned forward. Sandra, what is that? My mom's face tightened. Then she tried the next move. It was a joke, she said quickly. Ben knows I'm joking. Ben said calm. It didn't read like a joke, and I asked you to stop. My mom blinked fast. Then she tried the next move. She turned to Teresa. Look at Kayla, she said, voice rising. She's always been like this, always dramatic. Teresa didn't flinch. She said, Sandra, why are you messaging your daughter's boyfriend? My mom's mouth opened, then closed. Then she said the sentence that made my chest go cold. Because she doesn't deserve him. The table went silent. My dad's face drained of color. Ben's jaw tightened. Teresa whispered, wow, if you were watching this happen in real life, you might expect yelling. I didn't yell. I just said, calm. Say that again. My mom lifted her chin. She doesn't deserve a man like that, she said. She doesn't appreciate what she has. Ben looked at her and said, steady, you don't know your daughter. My mom snapped, I know her better than you. Then I placed the second screenshot down. The message to Ben. If you leave her, do it gently. She doesn't handle rejection. My mom's eyes widened slightly. Then I placed the third screenshot. The lunch invite. The one she sent him after he asked her to stop. Teresa looked at my dad and said, this is not normal. My dad was quiet for a long time. Then he said, low voice, Sandra, stop. My mom's eyes filled instantly. And there were the tears. The emergency exit. I'm the villain, she cried. I just love my daughter. I'm worried. Teresa said, you're not worried. You're competing. My mom stared at Teresa like she couldn't believe someone had said it out loud. Then my mom turned her tears toward Ben. I'm sorry if you misunderstood, she said sweetly. You're such a good man. Ben didn't respond to the sweetness. He said, I didn't misunderstand. I read your words. My mom's crying stopped for a second, then restarted louder. My dad stood up. Enough, he said. Go to the bedroom. My mom gasped like he'd betrayed her. Don't talk to me like that, she snapped. My dad said, then stop humiliating our daughter. That sentence hit me harder than I expected, because it was the first time I'd heard him name what it was. Humiliation. My mom stormed out of the kitchen. The room was quiet. Teresa exhaled and said, Kayla, I'm sorry. I nodded. Thank you. Ben reached for my hand under the table. My dad sat back down slowly and said, I didn't know it was this bad. I looked at him and said, calm. Dad, it's been this bad. I just stopped hiding it. Then my mom came back in holding her phone like a weapon. She said, you want receipts? Fine. And she did something I didn't expect. She opened her own messages and said, Ben, I was trying to test you. Test you. She tried to make it sound like a loyalty check. Ben said, calm. That's not your role. Then my mom said, if Kayla was stronger, she wouldn't care. Teresa replied, if you were healthier, you wouldn't do it. My mom snapped, you think you're better than me. Teresa said, no, I think you need help. And that was the moment my mom lost control of the room. Because the room wasn't performing for her anymore. My dad said, Sandra, apologize to Kayla. My mom stared at me. Then she said, through clenched teeth, sorry you're sensitive. Not an apology. So I stood up. I said, calm, we're leaving. Here's the boundary. You will not contact Ben or any man I date. If you do, I will not attend holidays. I will not answer calls. And I will not debate it. My mom laughed bitterly. You'll come back. I looked at her and said, watch me. We walked out. In the car, my hands were shaking, but my voice stayed steady. Ben said, I'm proud of you. I stared out the window and said, I'm sad. Because it wasn't just drama. It was my mother. And now I had to live like she was who she was, not who I wished she'd be. After the brunch, my mom tried the oldest trick. She went public, but vaguely. She posted on social media. Sometimes daughters grow up and forget who loved them first. No names. But everyone knew. Then she messaged relatives. She's keeping me from her life. Her boyfriend is controlling. She's unstable. My Aunt Teresa texted me. She's calling people. Don't panic. Keep calm. Ben said, do you want me to respond? I said, no. We don't fight her online. We keep it boring. We keep it factual. So, I did something simple. I wrote a short message to the family group chat. Mom has contacted my boyfriend inappropriately. We set a boundary. Please do not mediate or pass messages. We won't discuss it further. Then I stopped. My mom did not like that. 2 days later, Monica called me. Kayla, she said, your mom showed up at my job. My stomach dropped. What? Monica said, she asked me if Ben is the kind of man who cheats. She was smiling like she was being cute. My chest went cold. Because now my mom wasn't just targeting Ben. She was trying to plant suspicion around him too. Ben looked at me and said, okay, we escalate the boundary. I nodded. We sent my mom an email. Short and calm. Do not contact our friends or workplaces about our relationship. If you continue, we will cease all contact. My mom replied within minutes. You can't do that to me. That was the key sentence. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I'll stop. You can't. Like boundaries were illegal. Then, at 11:46 p.m., my phone buzzed. A message from my mom. I'm going to tell Ben the truth about you. I stared at it, because the truth in her mouth usually meant a story that kept her on top. Ben said, save it. I did. Then my mom tried the one thing she didn't realize would backfire. She called Ben from a blocked number. Ben didn't answer. His voicemail picked up. My mom left a message. Her voice was sweet and low. Ben, I'm scared for you. Kayla gets intense. She'll ruin your life. If you ever need someone steady, you know I'm here. Ben forwarded the voicemail to me immediately. Then he did something I didn't expect. He forwarded it to my dad. Just the voicemail, no commentary. My dad called me the next morning. His voice sounded tired. Kayla, he said, your mother needs help. I didn't say, I told you so. I said, Dad, I know. Then my dad said something that changed the story. I listened to the voicemail, he said, and I realized she's been doing this for years, not just with you, with my friends, with church people, with anyone who gives her attention. I swallowed. You knew that. He hesitated. I ignored it because it was easier. That honesty mattered, because it meant I wasn't fighting alone anymore. My dad said, I'm not defending her anymore. Then he added, but I need you to understand, if you cut her off, she's going to blame you. I replied, calm, she already does. That weekend, my dad invited me to coffee. Alone. He said, I want to say something clearly. Your mother's behavior is not your fault. I stared at him. He continued, And Ben, he's a good man. I'm sorry she treated him like a target. I nodded, eyes burning. Then my dad said, "Your mom told me something last night." I asked, "What?" He paused. She said, "If Kayla can have him, I should be able to have him too." My stomach went cold. Because that sentence wasn't a mother's worry. That was competition. That was the title in one line. My dad said, "I told her it was wrong. She said I was controlling her." I exhaled. Because now it was clear. This wasn't about me not deserving men. It was about my mom needing to win. My dad asked, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Calm. One final exposure, but controlled. Not online. Not a shouting match. A letter. A boundary. And consequences." My dad nodded. "Okay. We planned a family dinner, but not at my parents' house. At Teresa's. Neutral ground. And we brought one thing. Printed receipts. At Aunt Teresa's house, my mom arrived dressed like she was going to a ceremony. Perfect hair. Perfect smile. She hugged Teresa and said, "I'm so glad we're doing this. Family matters." She hugged my dad next, then she looked at me. Her smile became smaller. "Kayla," she said, "are you done punishing me?" I didn't answer that. I said, "Calm. We're here to set boundaries." My mom laughed. "Boundaries? Okay." Ben wasn't there. That was on purpose. My mom didn't deserve access to him as an audience. It was just me, my mom, my dad, and Teresa. Teresa placed a folder on the table. My mom's eyes narrowed. "What's that?" Teresa said, "Receipts." My mom scoffed. "Oh my God." Teresa opened the folder and slid out printed pages. Texts to Ben. The lunch invite. The message about me being too intense. The voicemail transcript. My mom's face tightened. Then she tried to laugh. "You're really doing this," she said. My dad's voice was calm. "Yes," he said, "because you keep doing it." My mom turned to my dad, offended. "You're choosing her," she said. My dad replied, "I'm choosing reality." My mom's eyes filled instantly, but the tears didn't soften her face. She looked at me and said, "You don't deserve him. You never deserved any of them." Teresa leaned forward. "Sandra," she said, "you're saying that because you want to be chosen." My mom snapped, "Stay out of it." Teresa said, "No, you dragged everyone into it." My mom tried the victim move. "I'm lonely," she said. "No one cares about me." My dad said, "We care. We also need you to stop." My mom looked at him and said, "Make me." And, for a second, the room was quiet. Because she truly believed no one would. Then my dad said, "Okay." He pulled out his phone and read a simple statement. "Sandra, if you contact Ben again, if you contact Kayla's friends, or if you spread stories about her, you will not be invited to family events. You will not be included in our plans. You will get professional help, or you will be alone with your choices." My mom stared at him like she'd never seen him. Then she did the thing she always did when control slipped. She insulted. She said, "She turned you against me." My dad replied, "Calm. You did that." My mom's face went red. She stood up. "You're all obsessed with me," she snapped. Teresa said, "No, we're tired." My mom grabbed her purse and walked to the door, then turned and said to me, "Enjoy him while it lasts." I didn't respond. Because I wasn't going to argue with a person who needed my life to be unstable to feel okay. She left. The house went quiet. My dad looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." I nodded. "Thank you." That night, I went home and told Ben what happened. Ben listened, then said, "How do you feel?" I thought for a moment. "I feel lighter," I said. And that surprised me. Because I'd spent so long bracing for my mom that I didn't remember what it felt like to live without constant emotional weather. The weeks after were calmer. My mom tried 2 times. One message to Ben from a new number. He didn't respond. He saved it and sent it to my dad. One message to Monica. Monica replied, "Please don't contact me again," and blocked her. And then it stopped. Not because my mom became a different person overnight. Because the environment changed. No audience. No access. No free forgiveness. That's what boundary enforcement looks like in real life. Not revenge. Reduced access. My relationship with my dad improved slowly. He started calling to ask about my life, not my mom's mood. Teresa checked on me like a normal adult. And my mom stayed at a distance. She sent one email a few months later. "I'm sorry if I embarrassed you." Not perfect, but less aggressive than before. I didn't reply. Not because I wanted her to suffer. Because I didn't want to reopen the door without real accountability. Ben and I got engaged a year later. Small proposal, private, no audience. Just us. My dad came over and hugged Ben. He said, "Thank you for protecting her." Ben replied, I didn't protect her. She protected herself. I just stood with her. That sentence was the payoff. Because for years, my mom tried to teach me I didn't deserve love. And my husband did the opposite. He treated love like something stable, not something you win. If you're listening and you're dealing with a parent who competes with you, I want to say one thing clearly. You don't fix that with better behavior. You fix it with boundaries and consequences. And the real exposure isn't a viral post. It's when the people around you stop laughing, stop minimizing, and stop handing the manipulator a microphone. That's what happened here. My mother tried to hit on every man I loved because she needed me to feel small. And the moment I stopped playing small, the game ended. One last thing. If someone in your family treats your relationships like a competition, don't compete. Document, set boundaries, and protect your peace like it matters, because it does. If you like calm, documentary-style stories with receipts and a real payoff, subscribe. I post long-form stories like this regularly, and the next story starts with a harmless joke that turns into a boundary test.